Good evening. Welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name is John.
And I'm Kim.
And we'd like to thank Kim for joining us tonight because she's not feeling that well still. So she's kind of like window dressing. Since tonight is going to be Board of Supervisors.
Tonight's government night, which is not my partay. I don't know much about it. I'm learning more.
And it has been a non-stop governmental meeting
John
day.
Has been non-stop.
In fact, there's still one going on right now. The Angels Camp City Council meeting is going on as we are
here on the news
right now.
Yes.
So it started off with a regular Board of Supervisors meeting this morning and continued on this afternoon with the joint Angels Camp City Council, Calaveras County Board of Supervisors Economic Development or Vitality meeting, which was well attended by a packed house this afternoon. And I think it was some very serious and very interesting talks about what things that can be done to stimulate the local economy. And I think it was a very productive meeting, even from parties who don't normally agree on much of anything. They agreed on this.
Oh, they did? And that was about a 3-hour study session this afternoon, right?
It did go from about 2:30 until about 5. It was a
long meeting.
It was a long meeting.
Plus the whole morning meeting.
Yeah, so I actually got to Board of Supervisors session.
Right at 9, huh?
No, it was actually about 8:40 because we had to check. We had
early
because we had to test the projector and everything for the meeting this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So I went there early to set up.
Okay.
And went through that. So it was a long meeting. Now let me go down to our little recap of this morning to kind of give you a little bit of a blurb. The big news this morning is the AB 900 jail grant application has been submitted.
Yes.
Somebody from the sheriff's department actually drove the grant from the consultant's office, I believe in Vacaville, or down to Sacramento to hand it in physically. The next process in that is now it goes in for technical review. So what you'll see is you will see the jail funding on the agenda for the Board of Supervisors meetings for the next several weeks. And basically it will be on there primarily as a placeholder because if there is an actionable item or something they need to change quickly, they want to be able to have a slot on the meeting to have an up or down vote from the Board of Supervisors. So let's say if there was a minor adjustment that says we need to tweak this just so, is that okay? The board can go, yes it is, and move it on.
So it's done quickly.
So that way it doesn't have to be agendized every time. So what you'll see is there will be a slot for the jail on the agenda every week for the next few weeks.
Right? And don't they make the decision in May?
Well, probably until it gets far enough down through the process. But basically not to worry, that's just a placeholder. In fact, for most weeks there probably won't be anything.
Won't be any talk.
Not be any actionable item on it. But so all the preliminary work is done. It's all signed off on. The Sheriff Downham can sign the application going in. There was quite a bit of discussion today from one member of the public at the board meeting. And his objection was that, they basically were going to turn it into a profit center and rent out beds for state prisoners at a higher rate. It was going to have some, creep as far as salary creep, as far as upward pressure on the salary of those working in the jail. And anyway, and some of that may have had some merit, but anyway, it was just, it's the big thing is
the total salary budget that they're looking at was actually pretty low, I thought, because a lot of the positions they're just going to be using clerks, not correctional officers.
Right.
So they are. Well, they're doing it as conservative as they can.
I would think so.
Why are you yawning?
I don't know. Every time I read.
Yeah, but you weren't even reading. You were just talking. It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. You know what? It's narcolepsy. Pretty soon I'll just fall asleep, right? I'll be in mid-conversation and just, sorry, see ya.
What's going on?
I don't know. Okay. Anyway.
Did you have stage fright?
I did almost a little bit today because we had to participate in part of the board meeting. And it's a different thing talking to a camera because you know that people are there.
We hope.
We hope, yes, we hope. And we've had empirical evidence that there's maybe a couple at least. But it's different when you're talking to an assembled group.
Were you nervous?
I was.
You were.
I was pretty jittery. In fact, I screwed up there for a couple seconds. More than a couple seconds. But anyway, we got through. And well, let's go down through this morning's meeting before we get on to the afternoons. So the jail item was the biggie.
Just don't read it. Just try to remember what happened in your head. Just
Okay, all right.
You won't get the yawn.
But the board was in a passing fancy this morning because basically everything that was agendized from the consent agenda items on
so
up.
all the sheriffs got their money that they wanted for the drug.
Everything passed 5-0.
Everything passed. Okay. So everything on the agenda today passed.
Everything passed. There was
Mark Twain got their money for the.
That means there was some discussion and sometimes some pointed discussion, but
I'm sure there was.
The railroad flat
school
issue.
They're going to hopefully get some funding. For
yeah,
them.
I think I am getting narcolepsy.
Otherwise, they'll have to close. They said.
What we'll do is we'll just
within
go
the
sleep
next
right
year.
here.
Within the next year, they'll have to close within the next year. If they don't, because I guess they're not considered an official state school right now, right?
The
Correct?
railroad flat school.
Yes.
They didn't talk about the background pieces.
Okay.
You read all the background
I just
pieces
don't believe
stuff,
that they
didn't you?
get. I don't believe they're funded like most schools are now. I don't think so. That's why they're trying to get it passed to where they're considered a regular school. I don't know.
Okay.
So.
And one of the other nice things, now this is really cool. This goes to that transparency of county government issue. And this one is, in the media, lots of times the media outlets get what are called board packets, which we've seen, which we get those in a roundabout way. But coming soon, what they're going to do is instead of having those in a paper form, everything in the supervisor's board packets is going to be converted to a PDF and is going to be available on the
easy that's
county's
going to be for the
website.
people that prepare those papers every week?
Oh yeah.
You get a stack like this for every week's meeting. It's like this much.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
So the gal, whoever's preparing this, think of how much work that's going to save.
And
her.
they were joking today in the hallway that there's going to be about 4 or 5 monks let off that are in the catacombs transcribing all the stuff for the board packets. But and obviously we'll put links up to it as soon as we can. But one of the nice things on that is if you believe in transparency of government, this will be a nice thing because now all of the general public and not just members of the press will have all of the background pieces and all of the stuff, because basically if you see an agenda item, what the Board of Supervisors get is all of the background documentation. It's all of the stuff, and lots of times there's quite a bit of stuff
for each item.
Yeah, and so now the general public will be getting that. So now you will be as informed as we are, hopefully better informed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything passed this morning. And you had there was a closed session.
You want me to go on to that?
Yeah, well, go ahead. Yeah, I wasn't there, so feel free.
All right, there were some closed sessions on the typical stuff, possible threats of litigation, plus the continuing negotiations with the on the property negotiations for the jail. Typical stuff there.
Okay.
And the other one today was, you know what? I think I even have a PowerPoint here. We'll just run through it real quick.
Wow.
We'll run through this real quick, and I think this is, and I think a lot of people in the community owe Diane Gray a debt of thanks because she did a wonderful job today on this presentation. This was well attended by lots of people, and what is the actionable item that came out of the study session today is that now an economic development component will be part of the general plan. So that is going to be rolled in, and they're going to be working on this quickly. I think within the next couple of weeks, they're going to keep rolling on this. And so this will be an action part of that, and also there's going to be.
Am I blocking the screen?
Yeah, you better. Yeah, no. Anyway, again, then we'll just run through the slides. Calaveras County Chamber of Commerce study session, economic development, March 18, 2008, and the goals of the study session were. 2. Diversify Calaveras County's economy with a suitable business development opportunities. The Calaveras County economy, the Chamber's 5-part plan is present data in a study session, which was done today. Meet with supervisors individually to identify unique needs and opportunities in each district, which there are. All the districts are different. Develop strategic plan for economic development. Include economic development element in the general plan, which was passed today.
Okay.
And develop economic marketing plan, which they are going to be working on. Present data on current and historic trends in population growth versus job growth, commuting trends, wage and salary information, earnings per jobs, and retail sales tax. Now, as you look, this is some of these are basically pretty simple slides. This is the population trends plus the increase in the workforce over the last time. These are pretty standard things.
Over the last 20 years or so? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing, though. And this is a commuting pattern one. Now, this was a biggie today. And this number goes back to 1981, and this goes up to the 2005. And inflow of earnings and outflow of earnings. So what this means is that right now, $357 million a year in jobs, okay?
In Calaveras?
No, have to be derived from the outside.
Oh,
so basically one of the takeaways from this is there are not enough decent paying jobs within the county. And this is Calaveras and Amador and Tuolumne County commuting patterns. Now this is an interesting one to where Calaveras County's in the middle, okay? Now, the little red bar is the workers' commute outside of the county, and it's almost twice the size of Amador and Tuolumne. Now, we have less people in our county than Amador does, and if you look at Tuolumne, and the blue one on the top is the percentage of workers who can live and work in the county they reside in.
Wow.
Okay? And the little tiny yellow one is the workers who commute into us to work.
Oh, okay.
So the takeaway is that roughly twice as many people in Calaveras County have to travel outside of the county to find gainful employment. And for example, workers commuting out of the county for work. In Amador, there's 3,500 that have to commute out daily. Tuolumne, there's 3,300. In Calaveras, there's 6,500 people a day that have to commute. In Amador County, almost 10,000 can live and work in the same county. Roughly the same for Calaveras, even though we have a larger population, and almost twice that amount.
We have a smaller than Amador.
No.
Oh, okay.
We actually have more.
Okay.
So this is basically where they commute to. This is the pie chart for this one. The different counties. This is the different counties that people have to travel to find gainful employment. The big one is Stanislaus County.
Modesto area, huh?
Yep, and the second biggest one you'll see is, let's see...
Bay Area is pretty big.
San Joaquin. Mateo. So if you look at San Joaquin and Stanislaus County, those are the huge pie charts.
Okay.
Then Amador, then Tuolumne. So it's an interesting thing that more people have to travel to San Joaquin County and Stanislaus by a huge margin than even have to travel to Tuolumne or Amador. Okay. So people are basically heading down the hill to find work.
With gas prices, that's difficult.
Yes, and recap commuting patterns. This is locals staying for work. The big yellow pie chart. The blue one is others coming to Calaveras County for work. And then there's the big red slice is locals leaving to find work. All right, now, we don't want to run here on time, but this is some interesting stuff.
This is government nice.
Yeah, wage and salary proprietors versus employees. And now we have a lot of self-employed people in the county. One of the things that was brought out today that the average proprietor only makes about $23,000 a year.
That's about right.
Yeah, all right. One good thing in the statistics, though, is non-labor income, share of total income. Basically, we have a lot of retirees that do not have to work for their income. It is interest income, transfer income, different things like that. It wasn't all gloom and doom.
Okay.
But this is the slide. There's two slides that really, I think, summed up the presentation today. And this is one, and this is not doom and gloom. This is things we need to work on. I think everybody knows because there's some really good opportunities out there. But this is kind of the state of what's happened. And they're also saying that our economy is much more diverse now than it ever has been. It's still dependent on the construction. But if you go, this is the interesting thing, is this is a slide was earnings per job. And if you go back and look at 1970, and these are adjusted real earnings per job, in 1970, the average earnings per job was almost $40,000 a year. So if you look at the real wage earnings,
they haven't changed much.
No, they've actually gone down.
Yes.
So significantly. So what the takeaway from this is let's say you were a non-college bound individual in 1970. You wanted to get a job to support your family within the county at a good middle class job. In the 1970s, the cement plant was still running at full blast, and also the traditional lumber processing and mills were still going. So basically, you could go get gainful employment with bennies and stuff in the 1970s, all the way up into the early 80s, pretty good. Now, if you want to, a young person getting out of high school, it's different. You don't have as many opportunities for decent, and also, but it is getting better. It's more diverse now. You may have to do, 2 or 3 jobs like everybody up here. But the interesting thing is the actual. And that's where we're looking. I mean, a lot of people were looking at how can we bring industry to the area. It doesn't have to be large format retail. It can be just jobs per se. And there's going to be that's going to be one of the discussions coming out of this. This is broke down by county business type. You see the services sector, retail trade are up, construction's down a little bit, wholesale trade, ag, different numbers on breakdown. Economic diversity. Now this is the other slide, and then we'll move on. This is the gotcha slide. Now, if you'll see the big red bars here, you'll probably still be able to see it on cable.
Are you pushing me out of the way?
I am. I'm just shoving you out of the way. This is the employment, and this is the total number of employment that work in local government, transportation, utilities, construction, leisure and hospitality, education, yada yada yada. But the thing that is really jumps out here, now this is the green bar is what these jobs pay. So for example, we're getting a lot of leisure and hospitality jobs, which we are all thankful for, but traditionally they pay very low in comparison.
Okay.
So right now, the largest employment block and the highest paying employment block in the county collectively is non-private sector jobs, county government, things like...
Which our county does pay well, I think.
Right, but the problem is you end up with structural problems, and I think everybody acknowledges this, to where it's akin to the Social Security system in the fact that you have a small... So if you had quasi-public sector plus education plus the county government jobs, you end up with well over 50% of the wages earned in the county are non-private sectors. Okay. So basically you have a very small private sector job base that is supporting the public sector. And those aren't good fundamentals going forward for a happy, diverse economy. A couple things you need to work on. For example, high tech, which we kind of like. If you look down at information technologies, wages, very high. State wages there. Even in our county, the blue bar, the wages paid for those are very good. But if you look down here,
we don't have any.
There's almost nobody working in those fields.
We don't have any tech.
So if we look here, is the job fields that actually pay well and have good bennies and things like that, we almost have none. So I think that will be the trick as far as how to attract good paying jobs that blend in well with infrastructure and different things like that. But those are a couple of the little, and then there was more of what you'd expect on retail sales tax leakage, what they per se were people spending money outside of the county because that's anyway. That was it. I mean, it was our little piece on that. And Diane Gray from the Chamber did a wonderful job on putting together the presentation, doing all the legwork, getting everybody on board. As we said, Angels Camp City Council was there, plus the Board of Supervisors, and I think everybody's on the same page as far as trying to drive growth.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. So it sounds like it went well. It was long, but it went well.
So you have the other... Okay, I'm done. I can go to sleep now. You can talk about the other stuff.
Sleep now. The Angels Camp City Council is meeting tonight. They had part of their meeting this afternoon. And they're meeting again tonight. Let's see if I can find that here. Way down here. Goodness sakes.
Man, everything's just going... There we go. Did you find it?
No.
Want me to talk about something else till you find it?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, okay.
I bet I passed it.
Are you ready to howl at the moon?
Yeah.
It's back. The Howling Nights
It
Food
is
and
on,
Wine
right?
Tour is coming to Bear Valley and Lake Alpine. It will be coming in on February 21st. Whoops, that was last month's. March 20th, the Hatcher Winery will be rolling in. Now they're going to be doing this is a food and wine tour. They'll start off in the Cathedral Lounge with appetizers. Then they will do take you out on the snow taxi out to Lake Alpine.
Of fun, doesn't it?
And it should be a lot of fun. We have accompanying information on our site, thepinetree.net, if you would like to look at that. Fun one there. So, did you find anything yet?
No, I haven't found it yet. Oh,
all right.
Goodness sakes.
Another thing we'd like to thank Vintage Realty
Yes.
for becoming one of our advertisers, and they're going to be sponsoring the Angels Camp news page.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you.
Here we go. Here's their agenda. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right.
Let me see. The Angels Camp City Council they were meeting at 2:30 this afternoon, and then again tonight at 6 p.m. Some of the agenda items. Let me see. They will be discussing resolution number 08-10, opposing the addition of 2 new seats on the Local Agency Formation Commission, which is LAFCO.
Yes.
Approve resolution number 0810, a resolution in opposition of adding 2 additional seats in LAFCO. Update on new Maloney's fees. They were also going to be discussing the, I guess they're trying to raise the new Maloney's fees, correct?
Right. There's a lot of, we've had stuff on that, on some of the new fees.
Let me see, what else? Update on that. Then they were going to adjourn to a closed session.
Those are always fun.
Regarding litigation, yes. And adjourn, that's it. That's all, I believe that was all that's on the meeting for this evening.
All right. Can I do a tiny bit on
sure.
national
Go
stuff?
ahead.
All right. Now today, if you've been under a rock, you may not have known that the Fed cut the basis rate by 0.75 point, which had dropped down, or 75 basis points, to 2 1/4%. All right. Now this is the press release from the Fed. The Fed Open Market Committee decided today to lower its target for the federal funds rate 75 basis points to 2 1/4%. Recent information indicates the outlook for economic activity has weakened. No way. You think? Growth in consumer spending has slowed and labor markets have softened. So some more stimulus package. They moved that in from the Fed today, and also the other big national news things is Obama had to deliver his speech. So if you weren't able to watch it at work or anything like that,
We have it.
we have the entire speech in written format. It was a 37-minute speech, and
Did
from
a pretty good
lot
job, it
of
looks like.
yeah, it sounds like he actually did a very good job. So, and obviously there's lots of different places all over the web to
I've gone
find
to some
this.
of the best schools in America, and I've lived in one of the world's
He
poorest
delivered
nations.
it from
I am
the
married to a
Constitution
black
Center.
American who carries within her the blood of slaves and slave owners, an inheritance we pass on to our 2 precious daughters. I have already condemned, in unequivocal terms, the statements of Reverend Wright that have caused such controversy and in some cases pain. As such, Reverend Wright's comments were not only wrong, but divisive. Divisive at a time when we need unity, racially charged at a time when we need to come together to solve a set of monumental problems. 2 wars, a terrorist threat, a falling economy, a chronic healthcare crisis.
And anyway, I think
potentially
we'll put
devastating
links
climate.
up to the whole speech, but he, from all intents and purposes, I think he did a very good job. Now, what he had to answer for was the criticisms of what his some of the comments from his pastor on race and some really, some pretty harsh rhetoric, and he needed to do well on this speech.
Okay.
And I think it was one of the first times that he had really been tested.
Okay.
And from all intents, from all the stuff that we've seen so far, is he knocked it out of the park.
Okay.
So, and if you want the whole entire text of the speech, we have it on our site if you want to peruse it,
Okay.
if you would care to peruse.
The sheriff's office now has an anonymous tip line that you can call. I think the reason they have put this in place is because I believe the anonymous tip line is what worked in actually apprehending the juvenile that robbed the West Point gas station last
Very
week.
nice.
Calaveras County Sheriff's Office is pleased to announce the Sheriff's Tip Line is up and running. The tip line is a way citizens can pass information along to Sheriff's Office regarding crime and wanted persons. The Sheriff's Office realizes that many citizens want to be involved in keeping their neighborhoods safe, but fear retaliation if they are discovered to be assisting law enforcement. So basically, we have information on the site for that if you're interested in finding out information on the anonymous tip line. And as I said before, they did apprehend a juvenile in the West Point robbery that occurred last week. Detectives have arrested a 15-year-old male they believe was responsible for the strong armed robbery of a West Point shop owner Monday afternoon. Detectives received information from a source indicating the juvenile was responsible for the robbery. They interviewed the juvenile who admitted to the crime. During the course of the investigation, they searched several locations in West Point area, but were unable to recover any of the stolen property. So they did arrest somebody for that robbery.
Good. And also, we got about 2 minutes to run down weather.
Wow, we're already done. Yeah, I guess
we're already done.
That was a fast news tonight. See, Tuesday nights are going to be like that if you're at board.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of our government night.
And here we go. Arnold, tonight, partly cloudy, low of 41, high of 56 tomorrow, 37, with a 30% chance of showers on tomorrow night. 54, 35, 54, 36, 56, and 38 to take us in through Saturday.
Okay. And for Bear Valley. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 31. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, high of 48. Wednesday night, chance of snow, 30% chance of snow.
Yeah.
Thursday, partly sunny, high of 45. Thursday night, cloudy, low of 22. Friday, sunny. Friday night, partly cloudy, low of 23. Saturday, sunny. And Saturday night, partly cloudy.
And for Murphy's, 44, 60, 20% chance of showers on Wednesday night with a low of 42, 58, 39, 59, 39, 60, and 42.
Okay.
We'll take you through there. And also for
Angels Camp,
San Andreas, Valley Springs, and Copper, you'll all be within a couple degrees of this because you're elevationally, you're pretty close. 42, 63, 20% chance of showers Wednesday night with a low of 41, 61, 38, 61, 39, 63, and 41.
Okay.
We'll take you through the week.
Sounds good.
And
we're done.
Are we done? Do you have any last minute tidbits?
Well, we didn't really have a lot of time to talk about anything this evening.
We didn't? We got about 30 seconds. Anything you want to mention?
Well, can we mention the thing we're going to tomorrow night, or is that a secret?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if it's a secret or not either. I guess we'll talk about it when we get back.
Okay.
Let me see. Argosy E-Cycling and Electronics Recycling International.
That's right. They're going to be at
will hold an
Valley
electronic waste collection event on this Saturday, March 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Valley Springs Sports and Fitness Center in Valley Springs. This will provide local residents an opportunity to safely unload their old computers, monitors, TV
benefits
sets,
Calaveras High School.
cell phones, printers, etc.
Good night.
Good night.
See you tomorrow night.